stalks do. And I must just tell you, it was once just a plant of coastal in the West Country, where it was spread. It has sticky seeds which was spread in the wool of sheep. But the theory is that it's holidaymakers walking with their dogs picked up the seeds of this plant and brought it to London, and it is really spreading very rapidly. So if you look up and get to know what it's like, you will find it everywhere. And it's in flower at the moment. It has pretty little pink flowers. And it does smell musky, but it's faint.
This is rather a frivolous question, really.
Oh, good.
I'm imagining you as the modern Miss Marple stamping around, and I thought you'll have a rucksack.
It's got a rucksack, yeah.
And I wondered what you needed in it. Do you take a microscope, or what do you have with you? I wanted to know when I was imagining it.
Okay, when I go out, I always take a little hand lens, and a little. I use I quite like whiskey. So I've got a little whiskey flask, but I've also used one of the empty boxes to put plant specimens in. So always take a hand lens, because a hand lens opens a whole new. It's like scuba diving. Do I mean snorkeling? It's like entering a whole new world.
Can you explain what this looks like?
A hand lens.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes.
Just a little hand lens.
I
don't carry a microscope. In fact, I didn't study science at school at all, and I'm not good at the use of microscopes. And one of the sections here is how I first began to try and use a microscope to find the tardigrade. So I have got used to using them now, but I don't carry on with it. I do take a hand lens, flask of whiskey, something to put my plants in.
We've got a question over there, and then we've got one over here. I've really enjoyed your talk, and I'm definitely going to be buying your book. And
I didn't plant this, honestly. This is completely spontaneous.
And I've got a totally different terrain question, which is the work and the skill of writing a book. So my question is, you as a writer, you as an author, going to a publishing house saying you've got this idea, the discipline of sitting at your blank computer screen at 10 o'clock saying, what shall I write today? The tidying up, the
It's
editing,
torture, you're right.
the sharing it with other people to proofread, the endless comments back that are all contradictory, the signing the contract with the house, how much you get from each sale, the publicity tours. So just the description of writing a book.
So what was the question? Haven't you just given us the description of writing? Yes, I try to write for 3 hours a day in the mornings. That was my practice until quite recently. My wife has just moved to part-time working, so it's thrown my plans into complete disarray. And I haven't quite worked out how to get back into a routine. But that was my routine, to set 3 hours a day aside to writing. And when you say writing, actually, of course, a part of that is sitting down, wrestling with what you're going to, what the words are. But a lot of it is kind of administering, as you say, it's administering your writing. It's preparing for the next talk you're going to give, or it's talking to your agent or your publisher, or trying to work out if they're publicising your new book enough. There's all sorts. But I do try to have a routine, and I also find that quite difficult, because I don't think I'm naturally a solitary person. Yet writing is a very solitary occupation. So I wrestle with that. I once read a description of how Virginia Woolf went about writing, and every morning she had a long bath in which she read aloud whatever she'd written the day before. And then of course she has lunch served for her. And then in the afternoon she goes for a stroll or does some gardening, and then she writes again, and then she gets dinner served for her, and then she writes again in the evening. Now, to me, that was the model I wanted. That was the ideal, but I never got my meals served, so it never quite worked out. I don't know if that answers your question.
Pretty well.
Do you have baths?
I'll answer that too.
I just wanted to know, if with a hand lens, is there
No. Under a hand lens, there would be kind of the size of a full stop in my book. But I used the microscope that had been bought as a present for my son years ago. So you don't need high-powered stuff. They are at the larger end of microscopic. And I tried all sorts of things. They're supposed to live a lot inside mosses and lichens, so I tried sampling those. Eventually, I found it in the gunk in a gutter, and that is the best thing. Collect a bit of gutter gunk, put it in a little bit of water, put it in a petri dish, and search in that for your tardigrade. And it's a kind of strange caterpillar-like thing with
yeah, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Was it a great moment for you? Did you jump up and down?
Listen, it was an absolutely wonderful moment for me, and I'll say in the book, it's, there are moments when for the first time I've seen nesting sea eagles on Mull, or I went to Romania and I saw the wild bison, and to me it ranked with those moments, particularly as I had to search for some time to find it ranked with those. About the bath, the equivalent I developed was that I would write during the week, and my wife at that time was a vicar, so she was working 6 days a week. So on Saturday morning, we would sit up in bed, and I would read to her what I'd written the week before, which was a great treat, and that was my equivalent of Virginia Woolf's bath. Do go looking for tardigrades.
Well, I'm not so sure about it. I've got this sort of idea of iU3A members all crawling around the gutters and they'll be after us. What the hell are these bad women and men?
Do it on your way to the coronet.
I'd like to thank you. It was absolutely fascinating talk. I'm sure that they're going to find that there will be plenty of takers for your book. But thank you, North. It's so interesting. I just got a few things to say before we move on to the sales pitch. First of all, just to remind everybody about our next meeting on 27th of July. Sarah Wilson, who's Professor of Modern and Contemporary Art at the Courtauld. So I think she's going to be a really wonderful speaker, sort of balancing really, I think, coming after you. I just wanted to say a word about the summer party. How many people here went to the summer party? Yes. Good. Well, thank you. I'd give you a pitch for those of you who didn't go, because it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, I think everybody had the most lovely time. The sun was shining, the garden, Culpeper was wonderful, the people there were so nice, there was music wafting over all of us, people met new people. I don't think it could have been a better occasion, and I think any of you who weren't there, I would say, think about next year, because it was truly wonderful, and everybody I've met, and I've had lots of emails in saying just how much people enjoyed it. So I just thought, for once, we could say, well done, iU3A. It was a great occasion.